So this time, this is my second YouTube video, and I'm going to hope that this one looks better, but I'll insert a clip and at the very end and show you how this jerry rig setup I got going with my big camera is going, because it's special. So we're gonna hope this works, because if it doesn't, there's no video. Anyway, I wore an apron this time to try and keep myself clean because there's flour involved, and usually I end up with that all over me. So if you hear the baby, he's awake and doing his thing. He's currently reading. We're making chocolate chip cookies, and this is a recipe I made myself. I had these chocolate chip cookies at a bakery in Galena, Maryland when I worked at CTY. And I don't know if they tasted amazing because we were getting away from summer camp for the moment, so that therefore they just tasted better, or if they really were that good. But in my head, they were super awesome because they were big and they were really cakey, and I like cakey cookies. So I've been working to try and find a recipe that was similar, and since I couldn't find one that was similar, I decided to make one. So this is my thing. Now, I have doubled all of my ingredients because I've decided to try, I'm going to make cookies, but then I'm going to make cookie bars. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully the bars will come out. So first thing, and I am not turning the mixer on for you because everybody knows, I hope, how a mixer works. And it's really noisy, and it's over there, and I'm here, and there's no plugs, so through the magic of television, it will become mixed. But you need a cup of margarine. Well, if you're making one recipe, you need half a cup of margarine and a quarter cup of butter. I am making a double recipe, so we're doubling everything. I'm going to give you the measurements for the single recipe just because that'll make life easier. And look, I got proactive and I measured everything out. And I used my handy dandy Mickey hand measure spoons that I bought 2 years ago at Disney Springs. So obviously everything will taste magical because I used Mickey's hand to do this. Best part about an apron is you can also wipe your hands all over it. So we've got a quarter cup of butter, half a cup of margarine, and we need 3/4 cups of brown sugar and white sugar. So we got brown sugar, and you can, I didn't feel the need. You can cream the butter ahead and cream the butter first and then put the butter in. If you've got hard butter, I would recommend doing that. So through the magic of television, it has been creamed. I've added the eggs and creamed it again, so everything is nice and smooth. And this is the part that's kind of a pain. You can skip it, but I think it does make a difference. You're going to sift 2 1/4 cups. It says cake flour. I think the cake flour makes a difference. If you don't have it, just use all-purpose. It doesn't really matter that much. I'm being really picky on the details. It just makes it a little bit lighter, but it doesn't really make much of a difference if you use all-purpose or cake flour. I do recommend sifting it though, just because it does seem to help it incorporate a little bit better. So, you're doing flour, and if you're going to sift things, you might as well sift it all. It's a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Alright, so you got everything sifted. You can add it all in at a little bit at a time, which I probably should do because this is a lot of batter for my KitchenAid. I have a mini KitchenAid, it's not a regular big one. So we are going to mix this up. Ta-da! Through the magic of YouTube, television. It's not really television. YouTube, whatever. It's all mixed. You don't want to mix it too long because you don't want it to work up any gluten because then they'll be tough. Just enough to get it mixed. It is really smooth and really kind of liquidy. It's because it's got butter in it, and because we, put everything in there, it will firm up. That's why you need to give it some time in the fridge. It will firm up in the fridge. If you skip that part, you run the risk of, they'll still be tasty, but they will sort of spread everywhere. And they won't be quite as puffy. And then I got 2 cups of chips. Mine are actually, it's not 2 cups because these are the giant chips. They were on sale and they were Ghirardelli, and I'm not going to say no to Ghirardelli, let's be serious. But they're like chunks instead of chips, so I'm doing what I like. I actually don't like my chocolate chip cookies with a whole lot of chocolate chips in them, because otherwise all you taste is chocolate and not cookie. And it's a cookie. So you just mix it in with a spatula or spoon, whatever makes you happy. And then you are going to put this in the fridge for an hour, and when it comes out, you scoop them 2 tablespoons, you know, scraping one off and then another. You can use cookie scoop, however you want to do it. And then they bake in a 375-degree oven for 9 to 11 minutes. I'm going to try and make this into a bar cookie. So I am actually going to put half of this into a pan and then cover it with cling wrap and put it in the fridge for an hour because I want to see if it'll make a bar cookie. I'm not really sure how that's going to go because I haven't tried it before, but I don't know why now is a good time when I'm videoing myself, but you know, go big or go home, I guess, right? Alright, so I have a 9x13 pan that I have greased it. You could flour it if you wanted to. I'm taking a chance and we're going to see if it works. I mean, you don't flour a cookie pan, so I think it'll be okay, but we'll find out in a minute. Well, you'll find out in a minute. I'll find out in a couple hours. Alright, so I'm going to do that. And roughly half. We're going to go with that's half. Alright, and I am going to take that out of the pan and put it in some cling wrap, which will be messy, but it'll be easier in my refrigerator because I need to clean it out and I haven't done that lately. Alright, so we're just going to spread this out in the pan. This is totally, I just wanted to know if this would work, basically because I don't want to have to deal with scooping all the cookies out. It would be just so much easier if it could just be a bar cookie and I could cut off a chunk and eat it that way. It's called laziness. If you want to make it sound better, it's time management. Better time management. Let's go with that. Alright, so we are just going to wrap this up in some cling film and then you can leave it in the bowl, you can take it out. I'm going to take it out just because it'll be easier. And then you're going to leave it for at least an hour. So I told you I wasn't going to film this thing going off, but let me just explain. You should cream the butter all by itself until it's light and fluffy, which is what I normally do, but I was trying to cut corners today. And instead, this is what happens. I told you I was wearing an apron and I pre-measured and I was like, it won't make a mess at all. And instead I threw sugar everywhere. So I have my oven preheating to 375 and I've got one of those ginormous cookie sheets. I think I bought it from AC Moore, but you can find them other places now that AC Moore is no more. I've lined it with some parchment paper. You could just spray it with a little cooking spray, it's fine. If I do this and you don't make too big of a mess, you don't have to wash the cookie sheet, which I like much better. And I have a cookie scoop. You can use 2 spoons. I have a tendency to make them way too big if I use 2 spoons, so we're going to use cookie scoop. And then my cookie dough has been in the fridge for about 2 hours, something along those lines. It's still going to be soft. It's not going to get super hard unless you leave it for a really long time or put it in the freezer, and then it's going to get harder. But a couple of hours, it'll still be pretty soft. It just won't be as soft. And like I said, I know it sounds silly, but it really makes a difference in how they turn out. So we're just going to scoop these out a couple inches apart, and I'm not being super like picky about what size they are. I just like the cookie scoop because it is one thing dirty versus 2 spoons, which we never seem to have enough of. I don't know about you guys, but spoons are like socks. They disappear. I feel like the gremlins eat them. And you want these to all be roughly the same size. My first round was a lot bigger than my second round. And if you're smart, you leave it in the bowl. This is a bigger pain than it has to be because I left it in the plastic wrap. Or I transferred it to press. But like I said, I haven't cleaned out my fridge, and I should have. So consequently, there's not enough room in there for my mixing bowl. Okay, so I have enough left till I will have to do a second tray. I have another baking. So we're going to put these in for 9 to 11 minutes. It kind of depends on the size. Like, okay, so. Alright, so my cookies came out of the oven. Just let them cool in the pan for like really just a minute and put them out on a tea towel on the counter. You could actually just slide the parchment paper off and lay them on the counter that way to finish cooling and just avoid having to put them on a tea towel at all. But this is my preferred method. You know, your mileage may vary. I have the other pan in the oven, and then I'm actually going to go get the pan out of the, I put the other pan, the tray of cookie bar that I'm attempting, I actually put in the freezer because it was a bigger mess of cookie dough. And I wanted to see if it would make a difference. So it's been in the freezer an hour and a half, 2 hours, about the same as these were. So we're going to try that when this batch comes out of the oven. And since we're here, and they're delicious. They're soft and cakey, and the chocolate's still pretty gooey because they're warm. Tastes like a good chocolate chip cookie to me. Not that I'm biased or anything. I'll share with you too. I'm gonna start them off at 15 minutes, even though I know it's gonna take way longer than that. We're gonna go 15 minutes and check them, and then when they're done, I'll tell you how long it actually took and whether or not it worked. Okay, so I have, they actually don't look too bad. It's the pan of bar cookies. We're gonna cut them though, and see if they actually look okay. So you can make these into bar cookies. Put them in a 9x13 pan for 25 minutes to half an hour, and that'll work too. And they're pretty delicious looking. So I'm gonna leave the rest of these in the pan rather than cut them up and I'll cover it. So those are the chocolate chip cookies. And if you're doing the bake along on the Facebook group, this is this week's, it's March 6th. This is this week's bake along. So that's it. They look pretty tasty. I encourage you to try them because they're delicious. And thank you for watching. Bye. If you like the videos, hopefully they're improving. There's only 2, so I guess there's only one way to go, but no way to go but up. If you like the videos, please subscribe, hit the bell button. I'm going to try and upload at least 1 video a week because my goal is it will go with the blog post. If you're interested in doing a bake-along with us, I have a Facebook group for Cooking with Character, and we do a bake-along every week. Every Friday is when it starts, and then you have a week. If you want to participate, to go ahead and you make the recipe and post a picture. It's no pressure, it's just for fun. So yeah, so that's where we're at. So click subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, all of the things, and I will see you next time. So just an FYI, this was what I was sitting the camera on, but I was sitting it on top of this thing right here, and it was just resting on top there because I can't find my tripod anywhere because, I put it somewhere so safe that even I don't know where it is.